not naturally as big a man as those other welterweights. So start there. That's a fair point. He moved up in weight, Barrios. So he's not a naturally big, natural welterweight.
Mario Barrios right now?
Well, it's not impossible because he has power. That he should have that power.
He's the Jordan of boxing. Simple as that.
The boxing world is buzzing as 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao gears up for a comeback fight. His coach, Justin Fortune, is fully behind him, calling Pacquiao the Jordan of boxing. Fortune isn't worried about his age, pointing out that Pacquiao has stayed in great shape over the years. He's confident Pacquiao will beat Mario Barrios, no matter what the numbers say.
His age, yeah, I mean, but it's not. Listen, he's 45, 46. 45, 46, but he's not. He's always active. He's always staying active. He's always doing something, mostly playing basketball, some sort of sport. I'm tired. So, no, not really.
When Nate Diaz beat Conor McGregor, he said, "I'm not surprised." So Manny could say that after he beats Barrios, that he wasn't surprised that he's supposed to win.
Well, what Diaz beat. I mean, different Diaz. I like Diaz.
At 46, Manny Pacquiao's training is nothing short of intense. Recent footage shows him moving with sharp footwork, throwing lightning-fast punches, and keeping up a relentless pace. Fans are blown away by his speed and power, especially at his age. Pacquiao looks locked in and fully committed, showing the world he's still a serious threat in the ring. Oscar de la Hoya has come out in support of Manny Pacquiao's return to the ring. Even though Pacquiao is in his mid-40s, de la Hoya believes he still has the heart, talent, and experience to hold his own against younger fighters like Mario Barrios. He praised Pacquiao's legendary career and said fighters like him should never be underestimated. For de la Hoya, it's not just about age, it's about how much fight Pacquiao still has left in him.
I wish him all the best.
Quadra, I love him.
Can he do it?
Quadra?
Can he do it? Absolutely. Manny Pacquiao's he's a legend.
Some nice ones. Thank you.
He's a legend. I think he can do it. Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but I think he can do it. Yeah.
Fans and boxing experts are starting to compare Manny Pacquiao's comeback to George Foreman's legendary return, when he won a world title at 46. It's a rare accomplishment in boxing, but not unheard of. Many believe that if Foreman pulled it off, Pacquiao, known for his energy and iconic career, has a real shot at doing the same. This fight is quickly becoming a story about beating the odds and proving that age doesn't define a champion.
If George Foreman can win a title at 45 years old and Bernard Hopkins can do it at 49 years old, then Manny Pacquiao can win a world title at 46 years old. I see this narrative quite a bit online, and there's a difference between Foreman and Hopkins situations and Pacquiao's situation. I mean, Foreman was a heavyweight, and usually guys in the bigger weight classes, they can still compete as they get older, because they rely more on power and size, and less on footwork and speed. Right, Foreman, he knocked out more to win the titles. Now, Hopkins, he did have a pretty impressive skill set at 49 years old to outbox Shumenov, but again, the guy was heavier, 175 pounds, and he had never been stopped in his career, so he had less wear and tear on his body and chin. Whereas someone at the lower weight classes like Pacquiao, he relies more on speed, footwork, and volume, and these sorts of attributes will be worse at 46 years old. Not to mention, he has been stopped a couple of times, and he will be the smaller man than Barrios. So the odds are really stacked against him, and I don't completely count him out because he is so great and skilled, so I would give him a small chance. But Pacquiao winning would be more impressive than what Foreman or Hopkins did, because Manny's trying to do it at a smaller weight class.
Boxing analyst Teddy Atlas recently weighed in on Mario Barrios' size, questioning whether it truly gives him an edge. Atlas pointed out that Barrios moved up in weight and isn't a natural welterweight, which could mean his size advantage is more illusion than reality. In Atlas's view, this levels the playing field and makes the fight with Pacquiao more evenly matched than many might think.
Naturally as big a man as those other welterweights. So start there. That's a fair point. He moved up in weight, Barrios. So he's not a naturally big, natural welterweight. And of course, we understand Pacquiao has moved up. My God, I don't even know when he first turned pro. You would have thought maybe he could have been a jockey.
Yeah,
I mean he was
180 pounds, right?
Yeah, jockeys are about 105 pounds, I think, somewhere around that neighborhood. I mean, can you imagine him though going to the whip? He might have killed the horse. That's the only thing. Yeah, you would have had Petter. What is it called? Peter, whatever. Peter. You would have had Peter coming after you. You know, look what he did to this horse. You know, but look, I love Pacquiao. One of my favorite people. One of my favorite fighters in the whole world. He's moved up from like whatever, incredible weight. People forget about that. That's why I brought it up. How many weight classes this man has really moved up. Incredible. Just incredible. But now, yeah, Barrios wouldn't be as big as those other guys, but he's still a guy that's confident. He's a guy that's a world champion. He's a guy who throws a lot of punches. He's a guy who's younger, who's active. You know, who I know you can't go by this guy beat this guy, but he could beat that guy, but he could beat this guy, but you can't go by that in my business, in this business, because styles make fights. But you're right. He beat Ugas. You could say Ugas was a little older than when he fought him a little bit than when Pacquiao fought him, and maybe that made a difference, whatever. But he did take a lot of punishment, Pacquiao, in the Ugas fight.
The boxing community is split on Manny Pacquiao's chances. Some think he still has the skills and ring smarts to pull off a win, while others are more skeptical, reminding everyone that in a tough sport like boxing, age can't be ignored. Some even compare this fight to the Tyson vs. Jake Paul event, raising concerns that it might be more about entertainment than true competition.
Or his network, his YouTube show.
1 second. Do you have, so you got Manny winning?
Yes.
You got Manny winning?
No. Against Barrios?
Yeah.
No, I think, look, every great fighter got one great fight left in him. That had to be Thurman. And Manny, I think Manny seems to want to, Manny appears to be like how Bernard and Roy were. Like, he's really one of those great old school fighters where you gotta he's gotta go out on his shield.
Yeah.
Going out on your shield used to not mean just in any given fight. It used to mean that's how they went out, period, fighters. And Manny's like that.
I do not want to see.
It's really hard to see Manny Pacquiao losing to Mario Barrios because of who they are. But who they are now, you know?
Sean, I do not want to see like Manny on the knee, mouthpiece out. That's going to hurt me.
Kevin McBride, Mike
That's
Tyson.
That's going to hurt me.
Despite Pacquiao's insistence that he's stayed active over the years, some in the boxing world remain skeptical. They question whether training without real fights is enough to prepare for a tough opponent like Mario Barrios. While Pacquiao may look sharp in the gym, critics say the real test is in the ring, not during workouts. They're holding out for proof that he can still perform at the highest level.
Overhand right. Stop it! Welcome to K9 Boxing. And it's yours truly, Cornelius K9 Bundridge, the oldest world champion in junior history. And Manny Pacquiao is looking to step back in the ring, y'all, against Mario Barrios, July the 19th. If I'm not mistaken, it's July 19th. And I give Manny Pacquiao a good chance at winning. Because, you know, a lot of people say, well, he's been inactive. He's older. Man, but he throw punches. He has a lot of experience. And his last fight was an exhibition, which still was a fight and still kept him sharp, punching, doing something. So it ain't like he just ain't been in the ring, ain't did nothing. Yeah, he been working. It's like them underground boxing matches are real fights, and it keep you off bold. You know, Emmanuel Stewart used to do a lot of exhibitions for his guys, or his guys to get them sharp, to get them prepared for a fight if they hadn't fought in a minute, just to have them fight sharp. What up, Keith? Yeah, just to have them fight sharp. So if they got in the ring and they hadn't fought in a minute, it won't seem like it. It'd be like it seemed like they just recently fought. Yeah, so you know, it's a lot of stuff you can do to make yourself relevant, sharp, can have you right ready for a fight. Yeah. My young dogs, Kevin, Kyrie, and Tadell, you know, the Hawk, the dogs, they fought to a draw.
Trainer Robert Garcia has a deep respect for Manny Pacquiao's legacy, but he sees age as a real concern. He cautions that even the greatest fighters can be let down by their bodies as they get older. While Garcia isn't counting Pacquiao out entirely, he views the matchup as risky, especially given Barrios' size and youth. In his eyes, this fight isn't just about chasing glory, it's a high-stakes gamble.
Well, Pacquiao's a big name, and obviously Barrios a great fight for Barrios because, you know, he's a champion, and I think Pacquiao, you know, being that they both have connections with PBC, that's the easiest fight to make. So, you know, getting another title opportunity, you know, just the name obviously, but I really believe that, you know, Pacquiao shouldn't be fighting. I think it's actually going to be a little, I don't want to say sad because he's going to make a lot of money, so we can't feel sorry for him. But at 46, almost 47, it's almost impossible for, you know, I'm just 4 years older, 4 years older than him, and it's not easy to try to think you're going to get in shape and be able to perform like the way you were when you were in the 20s and 30s.
You think it's impossible for him to beat Mario Barrios right now?
Well, it's not impossible because he has power. You know, that he should have that power. Barrios is big and a strong boy, so I don't see that happening. But is it possible? Anything's possible. You know, George Foreman did it. There's been others that do it. You know, but I really don't see it happening.
But Pacquiao speed's the name of his game. Do you think he doesn't have that? There's no way he doesn't have the same speed as before.
There's no way, bro. You guys, I don't know if you guys seen his last performance.
The exhibition against that big guy.
It was actually embarrassing to see that shit. You know, so it wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. You know what I mean?
If Pacquiao wins, what does that do for him? Where does that put him all time?
Hell, come on, at that age, after like a few years, I don't know how many years he's been off. You know, that'd be impressive. It's hard to think it's gonna happen, but that shit would be nice, man. It would be nice. Very few have done it, and he's actually one that could do it.
Pacquiao, he's probably top 5 all time, one of the greatest fighters.
Roy Jones Jr. shared his deep admiration for Manny Pacquiao, not just for everything he's accomplished, but for his fearless drive to take on tough challenges. For Jones, Pacquiao's return is a tribute to true competitive spirit and bravery. He finds it inspiring that someone with such a legendary career still has the hunger to chase one more big moment in the ring.
But how do you feel about Manny Pacquiao?
No, I love Manny, and I'm glad Manny going in too. Manny is one of the dudes that I think definitely deserves to be in. Manny always has been and always will be one of my favorites because of the way he fights. I mean, a guy to come back after being knocked out in 2 of his first 3 fights, then come back and do all the things that Manny did. That story is also just as awesome as Vinny Pazienza's story. You feel me? I mean, come on. Most guys can't bounce back from a knockout period. He got knocked out early in his career twice and came back and did all this.
Let's show some love to the International Boxing Hall of Fame, who has been highlighting all of these fighters and people in the sport that we love, favorite sport in the world. Over there in Canastota, this year there's gonna be a big weekend of boxing on the Salida Promotions, live on the Zone at the Turning Stone Casino. So shout out to everybody that's being inducted this year.
Yes.
Shout out to the Hall of Fame.
Even with exciting training videos showing Pacquiao's energy, experienced fans and experts have their doubts. They say looking good in practice doesn't always mean a strong performance in a real fight. People worry if Pacquiao still has the quick reflexes to avoid fast punches, the toughness to take hits, and the stamina to keep going for many rounds against a tough, active fighter.
It's a bad idea. Out of nowhere, the WBC decides they want their welterweight champion, Mario Barrios, to defend his belt against Manny Pacquiao. About 7 to 8, maybe 9, 10 years ago, I would have said, hells yeah, if we had a Manny Pacquiao championship fight. But Manny's been retired for 4 years. He's 46 years old. His last fight was in 2021, and he lost to Ugas in a unanimous decision. I watched his exhibition bout against the kickboxer guy in Japan. And again, I think people will look at this and go, well, Jake Paul fought Mike Tyson, and yeah, that happened. And I also said that Mike was going to get really badly hurt, and it was a terrible idea for him to do that. There were some health issues and everything else. Luckily, Mike didn't get super hurt in the fight, but this is a world championship level fight against a sitting world champion, and Manny does not belong in there. And again, I'm worried that he's going to get